Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ba'd. Alright, so we're continuing with the story of Prophet Musa. And so Musa stayed in the city of Madian very happily for 10 years. So he made the agreement and he was going to decide later whether it's 8 years or 10 years. So he stayed there for 10 years. And afterwards, he decided it's time to go back to Egypt. It's been an entire decade that I've been living in the city. He has a wife, he has children now. So he decided it's time to go back with my family and visit my homeland of Egypt. So he said farewell to the old man, to his father-in-law, and he left with his wife and his children to head back to where he was born. And so while they were traveling, it was a very cold and dark night. And they're traveling through the desert. And Musa tries to go and find some help on their way back to Egypt, because it's better to travel in a group. And sometimes it's dark, you may not know exactly your direction. So he started searching around. And once they passed this area, this mountain known as Mount Sinai, they reached what's called the Valley of Tuwa. Musa saw a fire in the distance. From far away, you could see that there's a fire lit in the desert. So he assumed that there must be some people over there, because people at nighttime, they're going to light a fire. So he told his family, he said, you know what, to be on the safe side, you guys wait here. I've seen a fire and I'm going to go there and I'm going to check it out. And I'm going to try to either bring back a hot coal from those people so that we can light our own fire. And that's going to be helpful to us, because they didn't have that many supplies. Or maybe those people, if they're very nice, they'll help guide us through the desert and we can travel with them and we'll be safe. And it'll be much better if we all travel together. So Musa left. And it's safer to not take his family because maybe they're not good people. So just to be on the safe side, if they don't see that he has a wife and they don't see his kids, it's going to be a little bit safer for them. So Musa left. And when he arrived at the fire, he thought he's going to find a group of people around the fire. But instead, Musa hears a voice calling out to him. It was Allah. And Allah said, Musa, I am your Lord. The first thing Allah tells him, take your shoes off. Because where you're standing right now, this valley of Tuwa is sacred. So you should remove your shoes, because out of respect, probably walking through the desert, they had an animal stepping in some dung or something like that. It's cleaner to remove your shoes. So Allah told him, remove your shoes. Now Musa was shocked. He's thinking, what is going on? This is his first direct revelation from Allah. So Allah was speaking directly to Musa. And then Allah told him, he said, oh Musa, I have chosen you. And I am Allah, there is no other God besides me. So Musa, this is his first revelation, and he's very surprised. So now Musa, when he used to travel, he would carry a long stick with him. It's like a staff. And so Allah asked him, said, Musa, what is that you're holding in your right hand? Of course, Allah knows the answer, but he's checking to see what Musa is going to say. So Musa answered, said, oh Allah, this is my staff. You know, when I walk, I lean on it. It helps me walk. And I use it also to break leaves off for my sheep, because they can eat. So if there's like a tree, he can reach higher and he can hit the leaves will fall down and then the sheep can eat from that. And he says, I do a lot of other things with this too. Like this is my handy stick. I use it for so many different things. So Musa is going on and explaining all these different things about his stick, because Allah asked him, what is that stick in your hand? And then Allah said, that's not why Allah asked, right? But Musa just wanted to talk longer to Allah. So Allah said, take your stick and throw it on the ground, Musa. So Musa threw it on the ground like Allah asked him. And his stick, his staff, it turned into a snake. And it started slithering around. And what do you think Musa did after seeing the first miracle manifested by Allah? Musa did what most people would do. He got scared of the snake and he ran away. So he ran away. And then Allah said, Musa, come back. Don't be afraid. Pick up this stick, which has now into a snake. You pick it up, and we're going to make it turn back into a stick again. So Musa's obviously scared. This is his first time communicating with Allah, his first revelation. And so he did. He put his trust in Allah and he went to go pick it up and it turned back into a stick. And then Allah said, now Musa, take your hand and press it under your arm. So it says, take your hand, put it underneath your arm like this, and then let it go, bring it out. And it's going to come out completely white. And now sometimes if people have, Musa didn't have like white skin. His skin was not black either. It was like maybe a brownish hue, brownish tan or something like that. So what's going to happen is his hand is going to turn white on his skin. And usually if your hand is white and the rest of your body is a different color, there's usually an illness. So Allah says, your hand is going to come out white, but without any illness. It's going to be a second miracle for you. So Musa did it, and this is exactly what happened. His hand was coming out white, and it was like maybe like very shiny or whatever it was. We don't know exactly what it was. This was a miracle from Allah. So 2 miracles from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then Allah explained to Musa why he's taught these 2 miracles. Because he doesn't understand what's the purpose behind this. There's got to be some reason. He's not just trying to show his power to Musa. So then Allah told him, He said, your job is to go to Fir'aun and you're going to tell him to stop oppressing the people in Egypt. He has done so many evil things and it's time for him to stop now. So Musa's response was, he says, I think the people of Egypt, they're going to reject me because I committed that crime long time ago. And I'm afraid that when I get into Egypt, I was planning on coming in and I was going to be super secret. I was just going to visit my family, but I was not going to let anybody know that I'm there. Now what does Allah want from him? He wants him to go directly into the palace, speak to Fir'aun, and then tell him, stop oppressing these people. I mean, that's not secret. That's the exact opposite of secret. You go right into the guy who was trying to kill you in the first place. So Musa says, I think they're going to kill me. Like, they've been searching for me. It's been 10 years. But when they realize who I am, if I declare myself, this is me, I'm back, and I go and I tell them to stop doing these things, they're going to kill me. So Allah says, don't worry. I will not allow that to happen. They're not going to be able to touch you. So Musa's still concerned. He's still worried. Of course, he knows that Allah is speaking to him. So Musa asked Allah, he said, oh Allah, my Lord, put my heart at ease. Like, make the job easy for me. You're asking me for a very difficult task. Yes, I have these 2 miracles that you're giving me, but I'm not very good at speaking. I'm not good at talking to people. So I want you to help me speak properly so that they're convinced with the message that I'm going to be giving them. So what I want to ask from you, Allah, is I want you to make my brother Harun an assistant to help me and to give me strength. So he's asking, he said, I don't want to go alone. I want somebody else there with me, and the person that I know and the person that I trust is my brother Harun. He's a good speaker, and just having him next to my side, by my side, and he was the elder brother, having him with me is going to make the job easier for me. So what did Allah say? Allah said, I've accepted your request, Musa. Accepted. Harun is going to be your sidekick, and he's going to be there with you as well, and Harun is going to be a prophet as well because Musa asked for this. So now Musa and Harun, their job is to go to Fir'aun and they're going to take the miracles that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. And then Allah told him, okay, this is going to be your job. But one more thing. When you go to Fir'aun, you're going to speak kindly to him. You're going to speak nicely to him. Why? So that he might accept the advice that you're giving him. And see, this is very important because Allah wants to make sure that whoever's getting the message of Islam, whoever's getting the message of the truth, He wants to make sure that they don't have any excuses. He wants to make sure that they are getting a good, fair opportunity to accept the message. If you speak harshly to someone, what will they do? They'll become defensive. They'll be like, you talk to me like that, I don't even want to hear what you have to say. But if you speak nicely to them, then they're more inclined to listen to you, and now they don't have any other reason or any other excuse even within themselves to say, I'm not going to listen to the message. So this is Fir'aun, the most evil person in the history of the world. And Allah is telling Musa, speak kindly to him. Speak nicely to him. So they responded, Musa and Harun, they both responded, and they said, our Lord, we're afraid that he might try to harm us. Or, if he doesn't harm us, when we give him this message, he might become worse than he already is. Now, some people are so evil that if you tell them, hey, you should stop doing what you're doing, say, oh yeah, watch what I do, I'm going to become even worse now. Some people are like that. So Musa is worried, Harun is worried. So if we don't tell him anything, maybe he's really bad right now, but he could get worse if we tell him the message. But of course, Allah said no. Allah said, you don't be afraid. I am with both of you. Nothing's going to happen. It's your job to do this. And I hear and I see everything. Your job is you're going to go to Fir'aun and you're going to tell him that he needs to let the Bani Israel, let the children of Israel go with you, and he needs to stop oppressing them. He needs to stop all these bad things that he's been doing. So Musa and Harun accept the mission, of course, and they go to Fir'aun. And they did exactly what Allah asked them to do. So they went in there and they said, this is what we're going to do. So they said, Fir'aun, Musa speaking, said, I'm a messenger from the Lord of the worlds. I am speaking to you the truth about Allah. So you need to let the Israelites go with me and stop oppressing them. So what do you think Fir'aun said? Sure, Musa, here they are. No, of course not. Fir'aun responded with arrogance. He said, how dare you talk to me like this? Didn't I take care of you when you were a child? Didn't you live in my palace? And then what did you do? How did you thank me for all of those favors that I did for you? You went and you murdered one of my officers. Look how ungrateful of a person you are. So what did he do? Personal attack against Musa. Reminding him of the favors when he was a kid and trying to get Musa to become, upset and just angry. So rather than he ignored the injustice that he's been doing, he ignored the request, he just ignored everything that was said. And what do you do? Personal attack. And that's what tyrants do. They'll just focus on trying to attack you personally so that they don't have to worry about whatever else you were telling them. And so Musa was clever and Musa was patient. And Musa realized that he has a job. So Musa did not get angry. He didn't start making excuses and trying to defend himself and all of that. What did Musa say? Musa very frankly said, yeah, I accidentally did that. I did accidentally kill that person. And then I ran away. But I ran away because I was afraid of you. But after I was gone, my Lord gave me wisdom. And my Lord chose me to be a messenger. And so Musa kept on speaking. He said, yeah, you took care of me when I was young. But it was your fault that my mom had to put me into the river. Because why did his mom put him in the river? Because he was killing all the baby boys. So whose fault was that? That was Fir'aun's fault. So he said, you're to blame for killing all of those children. And he says, do you think that taking care of one child makes it okay that you killed all of those Israelite babies and you made all the Israelites, you took them as slaves and you were treating them like animals? Does that justify that? And so he gave a very clever response. First, he admitted what he did, and he said, this was an accident. You can't just keep holding me to it. Number two, I'm a changed person. I'm not going to do that again, and Allah has revealed to me. And number three, this favor that you think you did for me, it was originally your fault. So what kind of favor is that? So Fir'aun obviously has nothing else to say. Musa made such a strong argument that he can't respond to that. So what does he do? Just like the other tyrannical kings of the past, he changed the subject again. So then he changed the subject and he said, what's this Lord of the worlds that you're talking about? I've never heard this before. Who is this Rabbul Alameen? I don't know this term. So Musa said, the Lord of the worlds is the Lord of everything and everyone. So now Fir'aun got angry. So no one is allowed to be above Fir'aun in his own mind. So Musa kept speaking. He just kept on going. He said, he is your Lord too. And he's the Lord of all of your ancestors. So now Fir'aun is getting upset. And he wants the other people, he has his counselors around him, they're all listening. It's not only two against one, like in terms of the debate. All of his council and his courtiers, they're all there in the palace. So Fir'aun comes up with another idea. He's going to change the subject again. He wants to get the other people riled up and get them to be angry. So then he says, okay, Musa, you just mentioned our ancestors. What about our ancestors? What do you say about them? And so he knew Fir'aun's very clever. This is not some foolish tyrant. He's a clever guy. So he knew that if Musa says something bad about the ancestors, the people would become angry. So you're making fun of our family members. You're making fun of my grandfather and my great-grandfather because they're taught to love their ancestors. So instead, Musa's more clever. Instead of responding back and say, yeah, your ancestors were all misguided. This is not the time and the place to do that. So Musa is much smarter than that. So what does Musa respond? He says, my Lord, because the topic is the Lord of the worlds. Who is the Lord of the worlds? He's the Lord of everyone. So then instead of Musa focusing on the ancestors, he says, my Lord knows about the people in the past. My Lord does not make any mistakes. My Lord does not forget. So the focus comes back again. He tried to change it to ancestors. Musa brought the subject back to who is the Lord? Who is in control of everybody? So very clever, going back and forth. Both of them are very clever in their debate. So Fir'aun now, he's worried that Musa is really good and Harun is there with him, giving him, also speaking. So these two, they're really smart and they know how to bring the subject back, and they're not, the other arguments and change of subject are not working on them. So Fir'aun is a little bit worried. He says some of his people in his court, or his council, they might be convinced. So he goes back and he gives them some advice. He says, everyone, my council members and everything, I want you to remember that there is no other God besides me. I want you to remember that. And so then he comes up with a ridiculous idea to show how much power he has. He had an architect, and his architect, his name was Haman. And Haman would build these big buildings for him, like the pyramids and other statues and things like that. So he would build these temples and these giant constructions, which are still, people wonder, they look back at ancient Egyptian history, how in the world did these people make that with their technology? It's amazing what they made. So these are very clever people. So Fir'aun tells his architect Haman, he goes, Haman, I want you to build me a giant tower so that I can climb all the way up to the sky and I can see Musa's God. But you know what? I know he's not going to be there because this guy, he's lying. Now, of course, this is a ridiculous idea. No matter how powerful they are, they can't make a building that goes up into the clouds. Even today with our modern technology, no skyscraper goes up all the way into the clouds. It's just not going to work. So instead, that idea obviously didn't work, but he wanted to show people, look, this is what I'm thinking. This is where my mind is. Your guys' mind should be in the same place. So then instead, Fir'aun says, let's change the subject again. Very good at changing the subject. So what does he do? He tries to scare Musa. Now he threatens him. If you worship anyone besides me, I'm going to put you in prison. So now everyone is afraid. Of course, Musa is not scared, but everyone else is scared. So none of the people accepted Musa because they know that if they were to accept Musa in that gathering, they're all going to be tortured and put in prison and everything like that. So finally now Musa began with the argument. And now it's time for the miracle. So Musa said, okay, we've had this long conversation. I want you to watch this sign from Allah. So he threw his staff down onto the ground and it turned into a snake. And then Musa put his hand under his arm and he brought it out and it came out pure white. Now Fir'aun is shocked. All the council people are shocked. They've never seen anything like this before. And so what does Fir'aun do? He comes up with another answer. This guy's got an answer for everything. Comes up with another answer. He said, listen, look, did you see that, guys? He's a very clever sorcerer. He's a great magician. And Musa said, this is the truth that you're seeing right in front of you, that this is from Allah. You know this is not magic. And Fir'aun accused him of being a magician anyways. So Fir'aun again is now afraid that some people might believe him. So he wanted to scare them another way. How did he scare them another way? He said, listen guys, Musa wants to kick you out of your land by using sorcery and magic. How can we protect ourselves? We got to stop ourselves. He's going to take over the whole land of Egypt by using these special tricks. So the council members, they were whispering to each other and said, how are we going to protect our land? We control Egypt. So they thought about it really hard and they suggested, we have an idea. We're going to get all the best sorcerers in Egypt. They're all going to come together and we're going to challenge him. And we're going to pick one day and none of us can back out. So they set a date. Said, Musa, do you accept this challenge? He said, yes, I accept the challenge. So they set a date, and the date, they used to have an annual fair where everyone would gather and they would sell stuff and they would do tricks and all those things. So all these people from Egypt would come and they said, okay, we're going to do it at that time. It's going to be at the fair so everyone can watch. And most magic tricks, if you think about it, they're always done in the dark. If you go into a magic shop where they sell card games and stuff, you'll see it's very dark. If you go to a magic show, you'll see it's always dark so that you can't see the little strings that they have and the little threads and whatever it may be. So they said this competition is going to be in the daytime right before noon to make it even harder. So everyone can see bright light outside. It's not going to be dark. It's going to make it even more difficult. So they're going to bring all the best magicians in Egypt. They're going to gather all the people of Egypt and they're going to watch this competition between Musa and these magicians. So inshallah, we're going to stop there. We have to change the class next week to be 7:30 because time for Isha keeps getting earlier and earlier. So we'll leave it at that. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. Astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum. I don't know if there's cookies.